So today, one of my goals is to help you reframe the way you think about autism. By reframing, I mean taking what you already know and thinking about it in a very different way. For example, a lot of people reframe the way they think about sitting in traffic when they see an accident. Some may think, well, at least I'm just sitting here and I'm not in the accident. Or you may see a parent with a child having a tantrum and think that parent needs to get that child under control. But then when you have a child of your own, the next time you see a parent struggling with a tantruming child, you may have more sympathy since you understand what they are going through. This is my goal for you. For the next time that you hear the word autism, you can approach it with a different perspective, because I'm going to help you understand what autism really is and what you can do to help remediate the obstacles of autism. Autism is a neurological disorder affecting the networking and processing centers of the brain. As not to get too much into technical information, let's just say that there are two different ways the brains process information, statically and dynamically. Static thinking is what you know. For example, formulas, procedures like following a recipe, memorized information like multiplication tables, habits and routine like saying, God bless you when someone sneezes. Computers are an excellent example of a machine that uses static processing. Dynamic intelligence and dynamic thinking is what you can do with what you know in a continually changing world. In other words, how you solve real-world problems. Dynamic thinking involves major processes like flexible thinking, experience-sharing communication, appraisal, and self-awareness. When we use dynamic thinking, our brains are operating more mindfully. We deliberate, reflect, worry, hypothesize, daydream, hang out, and even gossip. Not even the most advanced computer can replicate that kind of thinking. It is these dynamic abilities that correspond so closely to the obstacles found in individuals with autism. It is becoming clear to scientists that autism spectrum disorders occur out of the failure of the brain to develop normal dynamic function. While when we are all born, we are not fabulous dynamic processors, we have by the age of 2 developed sophisticated pathways which continue to evolve as we get older. The interesting thing that despite the fact that autism affects dynamic neural growth, static neural growth in individuals with autism remain relatively intact. So keeping that in mind, we do not always use dynamic intelligence ourselves. Sometimes we can fly through life without having to think much, making simple decisions that have right or wrong answers. Dynamic intelligence comes into play when we encounter situations that we really need to think about. Situations that have many facets to consider. Problems to solve and decisions to make that are not easy. Dr. Gutstein calls these types of situations ICUs, important, challenging, and uncertain events. In ICU situations, we use experience from our own lives and borrowed experience from others to organize, develop, and expand on our knowledge. For example, if you go to a restaurant you haven't been to before, you may borrow knowledge from a friend or a waiter about what is good. You may pull upon your previous experience with what you have enjoyed in the past, and you may anticipate how eating something may impact you in the future. Spicy food might give me heartburn, big desserts might make me fat. Dynamic intelligence gained through the process of decision-making, specifically decision-making that involves no clear-cut answers, many factors to consider, and many potential repercussions.